Okay, so here's a key for the hypothesis testing homework. In the first problem, one question is, how do we know what kind of problem it is? Well, here is obviously for the mean, and the question is sigma known, the population standard deviation? Well, here they say assume sigma is this. So because sigma is known, that makes it a z-test. So we set up our hypotheses. So our null hypothesis is that mu equals, we're testing whether the population mean is more than 1,500. So our alternative hypothesis is going to be mu greater than 1,500. Okay, so we're doing this one by hand, so we use the formula. So x bar is, so I'm just going to copy this and we can plug in. So x bar is the sample mean, so 1679.25 minus the hypothesized value, which is 1,500. Sigma, we're assuming, is 300, and our sample size is 25. So we need to be careful how we type that into the calculator, looking out for order of operations. So 1679.25 minus 1,500. Divide that by, I need to put parentheses here, 300 over the square root of 25. And you can probably do that part in your head, but I'm going to show you the calculator steps. So 2.9875 is our test statistic. Okay. To get our p-value, remember that the p-value is the probability that the test statistic, which we're calling z star, is the same direction as the alternative hypothesis. So that's going to be greater than 2.9875, which is 2.99. And I actually forgot before we started to pull up the z table, but we got it here. So let's see, we said 2.98. Oh, 2.99. So we're looking for the probability that z is greater than 2.99. So right here, 2.99. So the probability that z is less than 2.99 is 0.9990. So that's 0.9990, but keep in mind we want greater than, so the table gives us less than, so we have to do 1 minus. If you need a review on that, this is in the standard normal section. So that's 0.0001, so that's your p-value, and you always reject h naught if p-value is less than, let's see, in this problem, 0.05. Our p-value is indeed less than 0.05. Therefore, we reject h naught and say that there is sufficient evidence to conclude that mu is greater than 1,500. In other words, that on average, people generate more than 1,500 pounds a year of trash. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one. The second one needs to be a t-test because we don't know segment. And it's not just because they give us a list of data. It's because they don't state what sigma, the population standard deviation, is not S. If they gave us S, the sample standard deviation, it would still be a T. But we're going to put the data into StatCrunch. Which disappeared on me from when I had it up a minute ago. So we pop the data into StatCrunch, and let's see, here we want to know whether the population mean is less than 500,000. So our alternative hypothesis needs to be mu less than 500,000. So we said it was a T, so we go to one sample. This one's with data. Hypothesis test, the value is 500,000, and this is less than. Okay, so I did get enough zeros in there. And compute. Copy and paste over here. And this already states our hypotheses for us, and the test statistic and the p-value. So all we have to do is reject H0 if p-value is less than, let's see, what value of alpha did we have in this problem? 0.05, the most common one. And our p-value in this case, 0.3358, is not less than 0.05. Therefore, we fail to reject H0 and say that there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that mu is less than 500,000. In other words, that the average salary for all coaches is less than 500,000. Okay. Okay, so I apparently made a typo here. In a sample of 200 people, 112 said they always recycle. We want to test for the proportion this time, whether the proportion is different from 1/2. So this one is a test for the proportion. So proportion stats. One sample, this one's with summary. And let's see, what was the number here? 112 out of 200. So 112 out of 200, and this already has this typed in for us, half versus not equal half. So compute, copy, paste. And we're using alpha equals 0.05 again. So reject H0 if p-value is less than 0.05. In this case, our p-value is not less than 0.05, therefore we fail to reject H0 and say that there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that p is less than 0.05, or is, I'm sorry, that p differs from 1/2, 0.5, not 0.05. Don't get those confused. In other words, we can't conclude that the proportion of people who recycle differs from 0.05. All right, and if you have any other questions about these, please let me know.